At my brother's wedding, while my parents were laughing, my husband leaned in close and whispered, "We have to go." I blinked, unsure if I'd heard him right. The music swelled behind us, Frank Sinatra crooning over the speakers, people twirling in blurred circles under the fairy lights, and my mother's laughter burst again from across the table. The last thing I expected was urgency in my husband's voice on what was supposed to be a joyful, memory-soaked evening. "Go?" I asked, half laughing. "What do you mean? We just got our drinks." But Daniel's eyes were scanning the room, not meeting mine. His hand clenched the tumbler in front of him. His smile, a facade he wore too easily, was cracking. "I'll explain in the car," he said, already standing. Something was wrong. I could feel it in my chest, like the slow realization of a forgotten stove left burning. And still I followed. I always followed him. Outside, the late summer air was heavy with jasmine and distant laughter. I expected him to walk me to the car, but instead he stopped by the row of hedges lining the garden, his fingers twitching. "Daniel," I said, "what's going on?" His jaw was tight. He looked almost scared. "But of what?" "I saw someone," he said finally. Her. It took me a second. But when I connected the dots, my stomach twisted. "You don't mean..." He nodded. "Ava." The name was a slap. Ava had been his coworker. At least, that was the title I'd known her by. A project manager with a knack for sales pitches and a laugh Daniel had once called infectious. Offhandedly, of course. When I'd met her at a company dinner 2 years ago, she'd been pretty polite, and had smiled a second too long when she said my husband was the best problem solver in the department. Something had twisted in me that night. A tightness I'd learned not to trust. "You told me it ended." I said, each word sharp as glass. "It did," he insisted. 8 months ago. I ended it. I swear. I didn't speak. Not at first. We stood in silence under the fairy lights filtering through the hedge, the wedding music muffled now by distance. "You lied to me," I said. He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture I'd once found boyishly endearing. "I know," he said. "But I came clean. I told you everything. We moved past it." Except I hadn't. Not really. Because betrayal, even when confessed, lingers like smoke in the walls of a relationship. I had tried. I had buried it deep beneath forgiveness and therapy sessions and forced laughter during double dates. But now, the truth had stepped into the light again, wearing a red dress and walking into my brother's wedding as if the world owed her nothing. "You didn't know she'd be here?" I asked. He hesitated. "Too long." "No," he finally said, but the lie was fragile. I stepped back. "You did." I whispered. "You knew." His face crumpled. "I saw her name on the RSVP last week. I didn't think she'd come." Because people who sleep with married men usually don't like mingling with their families? That stung. I wanted it to. "I should have told you," he said. "I just didn't want to ruin the weekend. I thought if we could just get through tonight." "Get through it?" I echoed. "You thought we could get through my brother's wedding with your ex-mistress drinking wine 3 tables away from my parents?" My voice was rising now. The garden felt smaller. The lights dimmer. "I wanted to protect you," he said weakly. "No," I snapped. "You wanted to protect yourself." He opened his mouth, but no words came. I turned, walking quickly toward the parking lot. I needed air. I needed space. I needed a timeline that made sense again. And then I saw her. Ava stood near the valet stand. Her hair curled like it had been the night we first met. She looked at me, and then away, as if we were strangers. As if she hadn't once kissed my husband behind my back while I was planning our anniversary. I felt like I was underwater, watching my life through a cracked lens. Daniel caught up. "Please don't make a scene," he said low. I turned on him. "You made the scene, Daniel. I'm just standing in it." He looked exhausted. Pathetic even. This man I'd once adored. The man who'd held my hair when I had food poisoning. Who'd danced barefoot with me in the living room after our mortgage was approved. Who had, for a while, made me believe I'd finally found a safe harbor. But infidelity doesn't always come wrapped in malice. Sometimes it sneaks in through loneliness. Sometimes it slips between late nights and missed calls and words unsaid. Still, it always breaks something. I don't want to go back in there, I said. He reached for my hand. I pulled away. I need time, I said. For what? To figure out if this is something I can still live with. If you are someone I can still live with. I love you, he said. I didn't answer. Because love, real love, doesn't hide things. It doesn't ask for silence. And it sure as hell doesn't sneak around hotel rooms and office desks when promises have already been made. I'm staying at my sister's tonight, I said, turning. He didn't stop me. Back inside, the music had changed. The laughter rolled on. Life moved forward without pause, even when mine felt like it was unraveling. That night, lying on my sister's couch, I stared at the ceiling fan until the room spun. The next morning, my phone buzzed. A message from Daniel. I didn't protect our marriage the way I should have. But I will spend the rest of my life proving I can. But words were easy. It would take more than apologies to rebuild what had been cracked open again. It would take everything. And I wasn't sure yet if I was willing to give it. Not this time.